the second-hand market in Africa. I've
Mhm.
heard more that it's not a good thing for the West to be sending all their used garments to the continent. I mean, is it a thriving business model for Africa, or would you say that you know that the West needs to kind of find a way of dealing more with its own garment waste rather than sending it over?
Okay. It's actually you. I think you touched on the two sides of the argument. On the one hand, the second-hand market actually provides affordable clothing for low-income consumers, right? Who are not able to afford new clothing. So this actually helps people have access to basic necessities. But on the other hand, the secondhand market is also having negative impact in the sense that the clothes that are coming into the continent are actually too much. So even though they are, cheap clothing and there's demand for them, there's still too much import, and then that ends up going into waste, landfills and so forth, which obviously negatively impacts the environment. So from a legal standpoint, it raises questions about import regulations, custom duties and other trade related issues. So I think what we're seeing now is that more people are calling for governments to consider policies that actually balance this need to provide affordable clothing with the need to protect the local industries and then the environment. Another issue that people may not entirely see when it comes to secondhand clothing is the fact that because so many people are used to it on the continent, I mean, when you go to Nigeria, Ghana, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, like secondhand clothing is huge in these countries. So it stifles the local fashion industry in the sense that when fashion designers end up making clothes that they've labored over and then want to sell them because of the high price point, people that are used to buying these low cost products and clothing items are not entirely willing to pay such a high amount from what they're used to, and that way fashion designers in the industry are being impacted negatively. And then there's also concerns about the safety and quality of secondhand clothing. And that's just to say that because it's already been used, the quality isn't as great in the first place. So people tend to use it for lesser time before they dispose it. So now I think from the legal standpoint, right, people are, more stakeholders are calling for governments to regulate not just the amount of secondhand clothing being imported, but also the quality of the clothing that is being imported. So yeah, in general, I think the secondhand clothing market represents both opportunities and challenges, and it would just be how governments create regulations and policies around this that will determine how the market would impact the industry from here.